Hello guys, today's topic is question. Well, this topic is really big. There are many different aspects to discuss, but we are going to see only two important parts of this big subject. Yes or no questions and WH questions. There are two forms of questions, okay? The first one is looking for yes or no answers, looking for confirmation of some information I have. And WH questions are questions that are looking for information, something that I don't know and I need this piece of information. Some examples first, okay? One example of yes or no question, like this. Are you the new student? Well, I know that you are probably a student. I'm not sure if you are a new student. So I'm asking you something to confirm or not my idea. So, are you the new student? The answer is yes, I am the new student, or no, I'm not the new student, okay? That's just confirmation of some information that I probably have, okay? And one example of WH question, for example, who is the new student? You see the difference? Now I have no idea about this information, so I need the correct answer. So who is the new student? And then you can answer, I am the new student, or she is the new student. Well, I don't know. All right, so that's the difference between yes or no questions and WH questions. I know it's simple, but there are some rules for that. Every time that we need to confirm something, that we have to use yes or no questions, you have to start with some specific words, okay? And here are some examples. I know there are a lot of different words that we can start, but for now, these are the examples you need. So here we can start the question, the yes or no question, the confirmation question with verb to be. Are, is, am. Alright, so for example, are you the new student? Or is he the new teacher? And rarely, am I happy? Okay, I know it's a little strange to ask questions to yourself, but why not? Okay, then we can use auxiliaries to start. For example, do and does. Remember, do is the auxiliary for I, you, we, and they. So we use before these pronouns to ask the question, to ask yes or no questions. For example, do you like English? Let's create an example with does. So remember, does we have to use before she, he, and it. Okay, so does she like pizza? Or does he ride a bike every day? Okay. Now, questions with can, with verb can. Remember, can we use to show abilities. Okay, so for example, can you speak English? Or can she read 10 books in 1 week? Ooh. All right, and now let's use some questions with have or has. Remember, have we use with I, you, we, and they. And has we use for he, she, and it. So for example, have you got brothers and sisters? Or has she got a new car? Okay, so you see, I have to start the questions with these words. Remember, it's just the inversion rule. If in positive sentences I say, I can swim very well, when you ask a question, you have to invert. You have to put can before. So, can you swim very well? Okay, or she likes chocolate cake. So, in this case, you don't use inversion. You put the auxiliary first. Does she like chocolate cake? So now let's go to the other part of the topic, okay? The WH questions. And when I say WH questions, I mean questions which start with words using WH. For example, what, where, when, who, whose, which, why, and how. Well, how doesn't start with WH, but it's in the same group, all right? And this group of words we use in questions to get information, okay? So for example, let's start with what. What is your favorite color? Or what do you do every afternoon? You see, guys, again, I'm creating questions right now just for you to know that this is a good exercise to practice, okay? Just put the first word and try to continue, all right? So let's see now where. Where is about location. Where is about a place. For example, where is São Paulo? São Paulo is in Brazil. Where is my pencil case? It's in my bag. So you see, every time that I use where, it's about location. It's about a specific place. When. We use when to talk about time. Okay, for example, when is your birthday? All right, so now you can answer like the day or the day and the month. All right, so for example, my birthday is on July 17th. Okay, who is the question for people. Every time that I ask a question using who, the answer is a name or a person. For example, who is your favorite actor? Or who is your science teacher? Or who can play soccer very well? Okay, so I need a name, I need a person. Whose? Well, whose is about possession. I want to know if this object belongs to someone. For example, whose is this book? Ah, it's Bia's book. Or whose is this house? It's the teacher's house. Okay? Remember, every time that I have a question with whose, the answer needs a name and the genitive case apostrophe s, okay, that we saw in another video. Okay, which, well, which is really interesting. Which is the question that we use when I have options. For example, which color do you prefer? I have options here. So you have to answer if you prefer the red or the black. All right? if I don't give you any options, the question is what color you prefer. So I prefer, I don't know, pink, purple. Now, which color do you prefer? Black, always. Okay, now let's see why. Why is the question I use to understand the reason of something. Okay, so why do you study English? I study English because I love English. I study English because I need to have a good job. I study English because my parents think it's important. Okay, so why? The answer is because. Okay, and finally, how? Well, how can be combined with many different things. For example, I can use how for feelings. How are you today? I'm fine. Oh, I'm sad. I'm super happy. Okay? How are you? Or for age, how old are you? How old is this house? I can use how to express ways. How do you go to school? I go to school by bus. I go to school by car. Okay? How do you spell dog? D-O-G. Okay? So how can be used in many different situations. Okay? So guys, equals this part of the topic. This part has a specific order to follow when you formulate questions. But it's almost the same. You have to use the same rule that we apply here. Start with verb to be or verb can or auxiliary. But here, the first word of the sentence is the WH word. For example, what is the first word, is the second word, and the rest, your name. Or again, what are your favorite animals? I love lions and giraffes and elephants. Okay, so these words have to be in the first part of the sentence, and then verb to be or auxiliary, do and does in this case, can, have or has, and then the rest. I have a new board for you so we can analyze some examples. Okay, here there are 4 examples of yes or no questions, and let's see how the rule works. So here I have one example using verb to be. Are you happy? So you see, the affirmative form would be you are happy. So here I use the inversion rule. I put verb to be in the beginning of the sentence, like are you happy? Okay, the answer is obviously yes, I'm happy, or no, I'm not. Okay, the second example is I'm using auxiliary. In this case, does, because the pronoun is she. Okay, pay attention. The verb play is not the same as verb to be. So the inversion rule doesn't apply in this case. Alright, so let's analyze it here. Does she play tennis? The answer is yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. Okay? The third example is with using is the verb can. Can, for the rule, is the same idea as verb to be. I have to use the inversion rule, okay? So, can I study English? The affirmative form would be, I can study English. So I have to put can in the beginning of the sentence, so I have a question. Can I study English? Okay. And finally, one example with have, in this case has, because I'm using he. So we have to conjugate the verb correctly, okay? Has he got a sister? Again, in the positive affirmative sentence would be he has got a sister. So I take the verb have, in this case has, and put in the beginning of the sentence. Has he got a sister? Now I'm going to add something on the board. Just a moment. Done. Guys, I transformed yes or no questions into WH questions. So now I don't need yes or no for answers. Now I need pieces of information. I need some real information here. So remember, the yes or no question was, are you happy? Well, I added here why. So the question is, why are you happy? Oh, I'm happy because today is my birthday. Okay? So, you see, now the answer is not yes or no. I need some information now. Okay? The second was, in the other example was, does she play tennis? Now I need to know, when does she play tennis? When does she play tennis? Well, she plays tennis at 7 o'clock on Mondays. Okay? So now the answer is about time. It's about period of time, or days or months. Okay? The third sentence was about, was using can. Okay? So, can I study English? Oh, yes, I can, or no, I can't. Now, the question is not about yes or no. It's about place. It's about location because of the word where. So, where can I study English? I can study English at school. I can study English at home. I can study English at the park. Now, okay. Finally, the fourth question. Remember, has he got a sister? Well, now I added who. Who has got a sister? So the answer is not yes, no, is a person or a name or a pronoun. For example, who has got a sister? Well, I have got a sister. In fact, I've got two sisters. Okay? So it's totally different when you add WH words. Alright, guys? So there is a new exercise for you to answer. Try to do, or on the blog, write on comments, or write on your notebooks and show to your teacher next class. Okay? If you have any doubt, any question, anything that you want to know, please write under the comment area. Alright? Bye-bye. See you next class.
Something's wrong, 'cause my mind is fading, and everywhere I look there's a dead end.